Hello and welcome to another edition of My Dad's Podcast, the podcast where we celebrate and honor the life of one Mitchell Brinkley Jr. My name is Mitchell Brinkley, and unfortunately, Mitchell Brinkley Jr. couldn't make it in today. Here's the thing. My dad, after the second major podcast went up, he basically said that he was done doing the podcast. His exact words were, I think me and the podcast are going to take a break for a while. My dad, as I said before, he's a very private man. He doesn't really talk about his life. He did a lot of things that he may not feel 100% proud of, as you heard in the last couple of podcasts. And, it's kind of hard for him to talk about what happened in the past. It's hard for him to talk about what makes him the man that he is today. And I've talked to him about this. My dad would say things during the podcast like, I don't like the way I sound on air. I don't like the fact that I am not able to quickly talk about or answer the questions that you have or talk about the subjects that you want me to talk about. And I told him that that's okay. That's part of the process. It's one of those things where I don't tell him exactly what to say or exactly what questions I have for him. I don't even know the questions that I have for him before I actually start speaking to him. But it was one of those things where he felt ill prepared when he came up here. Even when we did freestyle episodes, which I will air soon, he thought that maybe he should have more time, even though I would sometimes give him a couple days, sometimes give him a week or what have you, making sure that he spoke intelligently, making sure that he didn't fumble with his words, much as I am doing right now. As much as he tried doing it the way that he felt, he's a perfectionist. So he wasn't happy with some of the things that he said on air. And I also told him, I said, look, we can, if there's anything that you don't like about what we said, we can cut it out. If you, for whatever reason, said one thing and you realize that you should have said another thing, we can make that correction, and that appeased him for a little while. Also, though, he thought that what he had to say might make him a bad person or seem like a bad person. What he had to say might piss a lot of people off. And I told him it's the internet. Everyone gets pissed off. Everyone doesn't like what you have to say. But there are a lot of good people out there that will say very kind words to him. And I think the listeners who have actually given me feedback, positive and negative, about the podcast, and have appreciated listening to what my dad had to talk about, and what I think will bring him back way sooner than later. Isn't just me trying to coach him. I might be able to get a couple more episodes out of him to air on YouTube. I might not. But the best way, if you do like listening to my dad's podcast, to hear more stories about my dad and myself, would be to go to YouTube, click on like, click on share, click on subscribe. subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, or if you don't want to do it there, do it on the Facebook page. Go ahead and go to my Facebook page and just send me a comment about the podcast. Or you can go directly to my dad. I'm sure he keeps his Facebook public anyway, and just tell him how much you enjoy listening to him talk about his life. Okay. Well, now that I've gotten that bit of information out of the way, let me go ahead and talk to you about what we have for today. For today, this is one of those. It was supposed to be something that I like to call these the My Dad's Podcast extras. This is just when we're shooting the shit in between what you hear whenever you listen to the podcast. Basically, whenever we have to get up and take a break, or bathroom break or drink break or what have you, if my microphone conks out on me, or if I'm having problems with the levels, I occupy the time by just talking to my dad a little bit about something off topic. And for this particular episode, I want to share with you a little bit about me as a young kid, getting disciplined by my dad for the first time. Basically, my mom was the heavy hand in the house. If when I was 4 and went to bed, she would go ahead and have me pull a switch off of the tree and whoop my ass. If I had an F in grade school, then I would get a whooping. And my dad, every time I was punished, my dad would do the same thing. If he was in the same room when he knew not the beating, the whooping was about to go down, he would go ahead and walk into the other room, or he would go ahead and walk out the door. Sometimes he would even get into his car and take a drive. He never wanted to see me get a whooping. He didn't like that type of punishment. This part of the podcast is about what he thought about disciplining us. And basically, the first time I can remember him ever taking a hand to me, and the second time he's ever punished me. And I don't think there was ever a third time, by the way. So I hope you enjoy this. And again, if you like this, please like it on YouTube, share it, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you can, either there or on Facebook. And hopefully we can go ahead and get him back for at least a few more episodes so I can finish up talking about his life.
But you're not necessarily trying to make a lecture out of it, but you trying to let them know that you care enough to make them understand that you trying to help them, not what would you call it? Just
not hurt him or hinder him or judge him.
Right? Yeah. But I love you that much, man. It's not that I be trying to be forceful or nothing like that. I just enjoy trying to, let you know, hey, if I told you, maybe you forgot. My parents told me a lot of things in my day, but I didn't listen. But yet and still they was right, and I know they was right because I've been through it, and I found out they was right.
Yeah. So it's like, why didn't I listen to them from the start? I don't understand.
Maybe I'd have been better off. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And that's why I just talk to you. You and Michael and all my kids. I never spanked them or nothing like that. I maybe hit them once or twice, just with my hand, palm of my hand. Just but after that, just once. I think each one of my kids, maybe I hit them just once, just like that.
I remember you only spanked me one time.
Yeah.
You
was on your bike.
No, actually, no. If that was it, I don't remember it at all. I remember you wanted me to learn. You expected me to already know how to ride that bike.
Yeah.
And you were like, all right, it's time to take the training wheels off. And I was like, I've only been on these bitches for one day. What are you doing?
Yeah. And I think I just patted you one time, and you never rode that bike again.
No, I don't think you touched me that day. The only day that I can remember that you ever spanked me was, I remember, I can't remember how old I was, but I was in my what I like to call my fantasy state, where I like to pretend that I'm, like this big badass hero or whatnot.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to pretend like I was John McClane from Die Hard and shit like that.
Yeah, you all used to do all that stuff and your magic tricks and all that.
Absolutely.
You call me and your mom in the living room. Hey, sit down. Let me show you this. Let me show you that.
Yeah.
You always active.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I remember I was walking toward my bedroom, and Shonda was there that day. And I was trying to be badass, trying to do kicks and stuff and whatnot that I saw on TV.
Yeah.
And I kicked the door open, and it hit LaShonda in the face. And she was pissed and just started wailing on me. And you came in between us. And, she was like, he hit me with the door. And I was like, I didn't even know she was there, blah, blah, blah. And you spanked the both of us. And that was your only time ever hitting me. You just gave me a couple of pats on the ass. And I was just like, oh, Dad just whooped the shit out of me. What the hell just happened? I'm used to Mom, giving me the switch and all that shit. Now Dad is here. And I remember the second time you've ever punished me. I don't remember exactly what I did. I know it was something you didn't like, of course, because why else would you punish me? But
I didn't believe in all that whipping and stuff like that. I try to talk to you most than whipping. So.
You probably don't remember this, okay? But it was around the time I had my Nintendo, okay?
Right. Yeah.
So this was still grade school. And I remember I did something bad and you did not like it, and you told me that I could not play my Nintendo. I couldn't play any video games or do anything fun besides maybe watch a little bit of TV until you told me to.
Well, that was my way of punishing you. So,
let me tell you, I don't know if you remember this. You probably don't remember this or not. But to me, maybe I'm misreading this, I'm misremembering, but it seemed like a month went by before I ever even asked about my Nintendo. And I never talked to you. I told my mom, because Mom was saying, well, what's going on with you? You hadn't played your video game all for a while. I said, well, Dad told me that I couldn't play video games until he told me to, and he hadn't told me to yet. And Mom goes, yeah, he probably forgot all about that shit. Just go ahead and play video games.
I probably had forgot it for a month. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
He was a good kid at that age, and Michael too. Y'all didn't give any trouble, nothing like that. You did what you had to do, playing and stuff like that. You picked up your toys, put them in your your room and stuff like that. So, it was just a enjoyable time back then in those days. So I enjoyed, your mom said when you was a baby, you used to stand up in your crib and, just talk and sing to the radio, pull up the covers over your head.
Hell, I still do that.
He was a baby, but you was a baby then. You wasn't old enough to do all that crap. You was just doing it because you just had it in you, man.
There is nothing like turning the AC down to 65 degrees.
Right.
Getting up under the covers, covers over my head, and just hibernating under the sheets. There's nothing better than that to me.
But you was like, hey, 3 years, and maybe 2 years old, if you was that old, and you was standing up, how you in the little crib and stuff, and the radio be going, you just up there singing to the radio, and then when you get ready to go to sleep, you just pull the covers up like you was grown, Look at my man.
See,
I used to enjoy looking at you in your crib over there, man. You was a happy little lad, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I always remember. I know we're getting off. We're getting
Yeah, we
drastically off
got
subject,
drastically off,
but that's
yeah.
okay though. We're having fun. Um, one of the things that I always remember was that home was happy.
Mm,
Going out into the real world and
right,
talking to the
right,
people at grade school and stuff like
right.
that.
Yeah,
Trying times that even though I wouldn't give it up for the world because that helped make me
right,
who I am.
right.
I hated it back in those days,
Yeah,
you know. Um, but going home and being able to watch TV or and,
right.
and play video games, play with my
Mm,
toys. You guys ever always kept me um with some kind of a toy. It might not have been every Transformer that I wanted, but
right.
I had a big collection of
You did.
Transformers, and I don't. We it's not like we were. It's not like we were rich or anything, but I mean,
Mhm.
hell, we had. Yeah,
We
I
had what we
always
had,
had.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was always able to get a Transformer
Right,
just about whenever I wanted, but at
right.
least if I didn't get it that month,
Mhm.
I'd get it in a couple of months. I didn't have to worry about never having it.
Right.
So I was always extremely lucky.
Mhm.
And history always gets fuzzy the older you are, or
Right. Mhm.
and when I was younger, I know that I had a few things here and there of the time. I remember the times that I did not like more than the times that I liked.
Mhm. Well,
Um,
we all do sometime,
right,
So, hey, it's just a give and take thing. You got to figure out what was important to you and what gonna take you on through life. We all have difficult times at times. We don't like all the positions, all the stages we're going through or whatever, but we gotta sort of like keep a level mind in order to take us to the next level, you know what I'm
right,
saying, And I understand that too. It's a lot of things that I went through that I didn't exactly like in my life, but it was just one of those things. It was a phase, We grow,
right,
we go
right,
through phases in life, and you got to learn from whatever phase you go through. If you want to move on to the next level, you say phase one, it wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be, but so I'm gonna try to take it to the next level. So you keep on going step by step, just like going up a staircase. You got to take step at a time. Just like when you firstborn, they always say you got to crawl before you walk. So, and that's basically what life is all about. Each each life have a different uh life expected life term or whatever
right,
that you want to go through and changes you go through, and you got to figure out was this the one I want to live or you want to live a better term. So that's what you call uh, making progress, in your life. What you think you want now, you might find something different later on down the life that you want to get into that might profit you better and make you more happier and more calmer than you did back in the earlier days.
right,
So that's the way life is. You don't never stay in the same position. You always grow. Just like a flower, it grows. You know, and that's the way people are. They grow. From baby to on from childhood on up to grown up. So you got to figure out what spot you want to be in and how you want to be there in order to maintain what you want to do, not what somebody else wants you to do, but what you like and what you want to do. What gonna satisfy you? What gonna make you happy? What gonna bring you success in life and all that kind of stuff?
right.
That's what it's all about. So
I don't think I could have said that better.
Yeah. All right. So,
That's because most of the sayings I have, I get from you anyway.
well, I mean, I just look at it as, a step by step experience. I done
Yeah.
screwed up in life back in the day and stuff like
Ah,
that, but I always try to make it better and better as years go forward.
yeah.
Just like your mom, I've been with her 30 years or more. So hey,
You
I mean,
more
I
than
try
30
to,
years. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I try to, try to maintain, and try not to reverse, and try to make it better and go forward. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm doing the right thing or I'm doing the wrong thing, but I'm trying to do whatever is best for our relationship.
Right.
So, in order to do that, you got to put up with things. You might say, hey, she might say one thing, you might say another. So y'all come to an agreement, and that's what it is. You talk about things, you explore things, you do things, and you enjoy things, and you just move forward. So,
Right.
and I love that, and just there's nothing no better than that.
Mhm.
And there's no place I'd rather be.
Hmm.
Okay.
There's no place I'd rather have you.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I hope you enjoyed that little tidbit of information about me and my dad. Next week we will have another topic, and we'll split them up into about 20 or 30-minute chunks to make it a little bit easier to digest when you're listening to it on YouTube. Until then, this is Mitchell Brinkley III, and I'm signing off. Um, Even though he's not here, I always want to say this: I love you, Dad.